In the nightcap, the 49ers beat the Chargers 22-16. The 49ers saved us from the embarrassment of becoming a meme because everybody on Football Night in America picked the 49ers to win. No one was willing to take the Chargers bullet to ensure that the upset wouldn't happen. And look, the 49ers looked a little sluggish coming out of their bye. It wasn't pretty, but they ultimately got it done. They got to 5-4. And hey, Myles, I said this last night, if they can keep their core players healthy, they are the most dangerous team in the NFC. Notwithstanding anything we've said about the Vikings and the Eagles, they're a team that can go on the road in January and win games. All due respect to the shortcomings of Jimmy G, the team is good enough to even overcome the most Jimmy G of Jimmy G moments.
Well, right. But, I mean, you've got to have your guys healthy. You've got to get your contributors to actually contribute well. I mean, Brandon Ayuk had a bad first half. He dropped a touchdown, and one of those other things that you need from the 49ers is him to be that guy that he can be relied upon. And so he was that guy in the second half, and he was able to convert some key third downs. That was huge. And you don't necessarily get the most contributions from Christian McCaffrey, but you look at that offense, and when they have Elijah Mitchell, Christian McCaffrey, and Deebo Samuel running at you like that, that's really, really hard to stop. Now, Chargers, you got to give them some credit for making those stops in the red zone as they did. And I think that's one of those big things that the 49ers are going to have to fix. How do we make sure that once we get down there, we punch that thing in? And, of course, if Brandon Ayuk doesn't drop the ball, then that's one of those things. But at the same time, I had a sense the entire time of that game that the 49ers were going to win it. I just felt like, man, why aren't they doing a little bit better here? They get down into that zone and it's like, yeah, you really should be winning here. But look at all the movement. Look at all the motion that they've got. There's so much that this 49ers offense can do. And when you've got a mind like Kyle Shanahan, you anticipate that they're going to be able to get that thing done offensively. So I agree with you that they are a very dangerous team, as long as they get healthy and they stay healthy.
It's funny. They did a thing last night for social media where they asked us what our favorite touchdown celebration is. And I said my favorite is when the big lineman gets the ball to spike it, and he's really going to pop it 50 feet in the air, and it just dribbles away. And there it was last night. The classic lineman, I am going to crush this. And it's just kind of... Here it is. Yes, this is my chance. I'm gonna. That's kind of the night for the Chargers. They fall to 5-4. No points scored at all in the second half. The defense really, really stepped up for the 49ers. 52 yards, no points for the Chargers. Elijah Mitchell, in his return, helped justify the trade of Jeff Wilson Jr. Had 89 yards, and we're going to see the Chargers again. We're going to see him again. I had a story. It's funny. I'll put stories in draft. I'll put the headline in that I intend to get to, and sometimes I do, and sometimes I don't. And I had a story about we're going to learn a lot about Justin Herbert the next 2 weeks because we got 2 games, standalone, primetime, Sunday night. Let's see where he is. Let's see where he's going. I don't know. Is that rib still bothering him? I don't know. But he's not, going into the season, it's Mahomes Allen with Justin Herbert just like a half click below. And then you figure out the rest of them. Right, right. And it's Allen and Mahomes are here, but I don't know where Herbert's kind of in the scrum. Yeah, he's in the scrum. And see, here's the thing. It can't be him. It's got to be the coaching. That's going to be the Chargers' position. So if they're willing to pay Sean Payton, they can that's a topic for another day. But I was talking to somebody about this last week because the idea is Dean Spanos won't pay Sean Payton. Well, I mean, a great coach is worth every penny. I said this a few years ago. If I have to choose between paying Jared Goff $33 million and paying Bill Belichick $23 million, it's Belichick 100 out of 100 times. I mean, if it's $33 million for Belichick or Goff, I'm paying the $33 million for Belichick. It's amazing coaches don't make more, and it's amazing more teams last year. The Dolphins got in trouble for trying to hire Sean Payton. Hell, more teams should have been trying to hire Sean Payton last year. Well, you have a proven commodity at head coach who can come in, you pair him up with a great young quarterback, and you can have a team that's a consistent contender year in and year out. You're in the conversation for postseason and deep into the postseason. I know the Saints only won 1 Super Bowl, but once they got past the aftermath of the bounty nonsense, because everybody was doing exactly what the Saints were doing. It was a cultural issue. It wasn't a Saints issue, and the Saints got singled out for it. Once that subsided, they were a perennial playoff contender. They just kept having their hearts ripped out in new and innovative ways every postseason.
Yeah. Thank you, Nikhil Ruby Coleman. So here's one thing that I want to say about the Chargers. And I was listening to the broadcast last night, and they mentioned that Brandon Staley had talked about, why aren't people talking about us? We're 5-3, and we've had all these injuries. That's like, whoa, man. We've seen this team play. Oh, what do you mean? This is something that Jason Kelce has talked about on the podcast he has with Travis Kelce. And of course I listen to it because they're Cleveland kids and I'm a Cleveland kid. But he said, you control the narrative, right? So if you're the Chargers and you keep going to games and you lose like that, right? You play the Jaguars at home and you have a terrible loss. You should have lost to the Browns because you had a terrible coaching decision. And you could have lost to the Broncos on that god-awful Monday night game. Right? It's not like we haven't seen this team play. And I know that they're playing without Keenan Allen, and I understand that they're playing without Mike Williams. And that really is an issue when you're talking about a young quarterback and does he have his weapons and it's this and it's that. But we're watching the Chargers play, and they're not playing well enough. You're watching the Chargers play, and they're trying to substitute when the 49ers offense is getting down toward the goal line, and they're not substituting. You can't put in your goal line package there. It's day one stuff. If the offense doesn't substitute, you can't substitute. So it's like, well, why aren't they talking about us? Well, because you're not winning games in critical situations or making the plays in critical situations or making the critical coaching decisions that really elevate you to play winning football. So that stuff, it kind of grates me. Why aren't they talking about us?
Yeah.
Go win games.
Yeah.
Go win games, and we'll talk about you more positively.
Yeah, win games in impressive fashion. Don't win games despite all of your best or worst efforts to sabotage your own interests. You've got to be a more impressive overall operation. And look, to use the very timely reference that I always employ with the Chargers, Rosanna, it's always something. With them, it's always
really
something.
Is.
And it's going to be a new coach if they don't watch it here for the balance of the season.
They're still 5-4.
I know we're supposed to break. I know we're supposed to break, but look, the show ends at 9:00 either way, so we can do whatever we want, frankly. I know that. And I shouldn't be saying that while I'm actually here. There's probably a more prudent comment for when I'm 500 miles away, Miles. But the Dre Greenlaw ejection, I just want to comment on this because there was a pool report last night. Walt Anderson earned his paycheck yesterday. There were multiple pool reports from Walt Anderson. But this play, at the time, like when I saw this, okay, like what's the foul here? And if it was a running back, would there even have been a conversation about a foul, much less an ejection? That's what made it even more amazing. Anderson explained that this was a flagrant violation of the rule against lowering the helmet and initiating contact. And that would be fine if they threw that flag every time someone does that. That happens all game long. And one thing I learned back in August, apparently they fine a lot of guys for this that we don't know about because they only tell us the fines when you at such a stupid. We have to ask, did you fine Jalen Ramsey for taking his helmet off? No, we didn't. Okay. Did you fine? So we don't even, it's like we're going to study film and look at every instance where it looks like somebody may have lowered their helmet to initiate contact and it wasn't flagged. Did you fine him for that? Apparently they do. So I think what made it so jarring was you never, or at least rarely, have that flag even thrown to have someone ejected for it. When you look at it and say, what could Dre Greenlaw have done differently in that moment when a 6'5" quarterback decides he's not going to slide, he's going to fall forward like a running back does? What is Dre Greenlaw supposed to do there?
Right. To me, it looks like a football play, He said that, I saw the pool report, it said, well, the quarterback was down. At what point was the quarterback down before he initiates contact?
Yeah, I mean, the knee's down there as he is.
A split second.
A nanosecond. The player is down.
Yeah.
When you've already committed. See, that's the problem with these rules. And what happens is, and for more you can buy playmakers, which gets behind the scenes as to what really happened with this lowering the helmet rule. This wasn't a football rule. This was a PR/safety/legal rule that was crafted by the two Jeffs. Jeff Miller, who's in charge of PR and safety, which is probably not the best. I've say it's kind of dawned on me before. You're in charge of health and safety and PR. May want to have two separate silos there in any organization. And you got the chief lawyer. They came together and they crafted this rule back in 2018, rammed it through without any of the football people having any say. It created chaos in the preseason that year. And so it's just kind of there. And it just randomly gets seized upon in a moment like last night. That's why I have a problem with it. It's not practical. It ignores the realities of football. And it's this catch-all flag we can throw whenever there's an outcome that just looks too football, too dangerous.
Sure.
We got to do something. What are we going to do here? Well, let's just say he was lowering his helmet. They're telling me to break. And since I'm not 500 miles away, I probably should listen. We got more. The Jeff Saturday coaching debut. We'll talk about that when PFT Live continues right after this. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.